So we're talking about basketball here. Obviously, football, there's a bunch of expansion, but how does that affect basketball potentially the next 5, 6, 7 years?
How does what?
How does potential Big Ten expansion affect basketball? Because you're talking about tradition and legacy, but the whole Big Ten could look markedly different again.
I think it's a less of an impact on basketball simply because basketball plays 30 games. So if we're going to play Maryland, that's a good game. Rutgers is a good game. We're probably going to, as we look at basketball scheduling, we'll play maybe a couple less mid-majors and a couple less other opponents because we'll be playing more in-conference battles, and that's always great. So I think it's less, frankly, it's going to be less of a scheduling impact and less of an issue than kind of what we're going through with football.
So do you expect it to kind of jump from 18 to 20 or anything like that?
You mean the number of teams?
Big Ten, no.
Big Ten
games.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think at some point we're all going to put our heads together and say, okay, how many games do we want to play in the conference? And that'll be a great conversation because it really provides an opportunity to kind of take a new look, just like we are with football. These change is hard for some people, but it gives you the opportunity to sit down and say, okay, new world, new situation, what's the best way to go forward? And we'll get a chance to do that with basketball.
Are you in favor of maybe playing early December games? Some leagues do that with basketball, and others kind of do what you guys do, which is go straight through.
Well, I'm in favor of keeping it exciting for the fans, and I want to reward the people who buy season tickets here with lots of competitions in this building that really get them excited and make them want to be here. So I worry a little bit in the early season, that we're playing a lot of games that don't feel very exciting, and we see it in the attendance. And so the more we can schedule competitive teams and games that have a lot of fan interest and attention, the more I'm going to like it. Now, having said that, it's a long year, it's a long 30-game schedule, and then you get into the tournament. And so, you can't play a top 25 team every game, or you're going to wear yourself out. But I want to make sure our fans get a chance to see great teams come in here and see great basketball. And I think, adding teams like Maryland certainly is going to help us do that.
One kind of football question. Devin Gardner, have you guys heard anything? Whether he's going to get the red? I know it's the question you're asked all the time.
Yeah.
But the time frame of it would have suggested that you guys should have heard something.
Here's the deal. Usually, when we're talking about the eligibility, particularly when it pertains to a filing with the NCAA, usually you're not going to hear about it. It's going to happen. Eventually, it'll come out, obviously, because it impacts seasons played. I think there's so much attention being brought to this that when we get to a point where we have a definitive answer, we're just going to tell it. As long as that's okay with Devin. As long as that's okay with Devin, because it's his life.
Yeah.
But my inclination, if Devin's okay with it, is when we hear one way or another what his status is, I think we're going to send out a real big old press release and let you guys all know it. And until you see that, you should assume we don't know what's going on.